everybody, I'm Amber Ryan and welcome to my channel. Today we are finally playing TBR Clue for the month of March. Wow. So in February, I actually filmed my TBR Clue video early on and I had it ready to go at the beginning of the month and then forgot to upload it. So you will be getting hopefully 2 TBR Clue videos this month. One for February and this one, which is going to be the current one, for March. Now, I will say for February, I failed miserably. I read half of Postcards from Summer by Cynthia Platt, and it was slow going and I struggled to get into it, so I ended up DNFing it for the time being. And then I read half of The Last Devil to Die, which is the latest Thursday Murder Club book, and I will be finishing that one this month before I continue on with this month's TBR. But yeah, I just didn't have a good reading month. There was just too much going on. My life has been crazy busy. I also injured my hand. So I thought I had broken it. I went in, had it x-rayed and everything, and then luckily it was just very heavily bruised, internally bruised. So I had to actually rest it for a week. Like, I couldn't do anything, and it was my right hand, my dominant hand. So I struggled a bit and I had to give it rest. I had to ice it, do a leave, do all the things, and it took a while to heal, and it's still a little tender still. So but yeah, so that was my month basically. I had just a lot going on, and there was just no time to read. Honestly, it was just slammed. Even at work, when I usually do have some downtime, I try to read there, but it was just, we were slammed. So also, you will see this big manta ray in the background. I didn't have anywhere to put it during this video, but my dad got me that for Valentine's Day, so he's just going to be hanging out in the background for this video. So but yes, without further ado, let's get into this month's game. Okay, roll number 1. 8. Mystery. Okay, perfect room to start off in. Here we go. 6, 5. So 5, 6, or 11 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Oh, book 29. A book with one of the 5 W's in the title. Who, what, when, where, or why. Interesting. So, roll number 1, we started off in the mystery room, which is the perfect room to start off in, honestly. One of my all-time favorite genres. And I ended up with an interesting prompt, and I've actually had this prompt, I think, a couple times before. One of the 5 W's, which is who, what, when, where, or why. And I actually had a couple books to choose from, believe it or not, for this prompt. And I went with one that I've actually had for a little while now, probably close to a year now, actually. That's Not What Happened by Cody Keplinger. It is a shorter one. It's 325 pages long, and I do already kind of plan on just listening to this one on Audible as an audiobook, because I am trying to get one of the squares on my book bingo. Which hopefully at some point I will be doing a reading journal tour and peek into my reading journal. But yes, one of the squares on my bingo is to listen to 5 audiobooks this year, and I have one more audiobook to listen to in order to get the square. So I'm kind of already planning on doing it for this one, even though this is probably the shortest book. It actually is. It's the shortest book this month so far right now that I have. So, but I kind of feel like this would be a good audiobook one, but we shall see when it comes time, honestly. But so this one was for roll 1. Okay, back to the center of the board. Roll number 2. We're starting off strong. Let's hope it stays that way. Okay, that is a 5. 5. Romance. Okay. Double. So that adds an extra roll to the game. 5, 5, or 10 spaces. What's with all the 5s? That's wild. Okay, so let's go to the romance room. Okay. Now, of course, we do have the love potion bonus, where I could unwrap the final book. I believe there's only one book left that my sister has sent. Or I can go for one of the prompts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just not quite ready for that last book she had wrapped. Book 25. A cozy read. Okay. For roll number 2, I actually ended up with doubles, so I added a extra roll to the game. I added roll number 7 to the game for the doubles, and we ended up in the romance room, and I ended up with a pretty basic prompt, but it was also, because it was a basic prompt, it was pretty easy to find a book for it, and it was a cozy read, so a cozy romance read, and I actually chose one of the newest books to my shelves to go with this prompt. And this is one I've seen a lot of people talk about. Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. So it is a sports romance, a ice hockey romance, and it is called a Maple Hills novel. Now there is a sequel. They are each standalones, but there is a sequel called Wildfire that I also own. I recently bought both of them, recommended by my sister. So I thought I would check it out. This is one of the newest books to my shelves, so but yeah, so I had to jump at the opportunity, and I honestly am not hating it. I need a little bit more romance in my life. So this is 432 pages long, so it is a bit of a longer book for me, and honestly I'm trying to read some books that are over 400 pages to get another square on my book bingo. I think I'm actually just one away from getting that square, and I have like 3 books already that's over 400 pages this month, so I'm really taking on a lot this month, but hopefully I will make some progress with my TBR, and that is the big goal. So, and with my book bingo. So I roll number 3. Where are we going? Where are we going? Okay. We started off real strong. 8 again. So we're back in the mystery room, and I'm not hating it. Okay, this actually makes me really excited. 2 and 4. Okay, 2, 4, or 6. 2, 4, or 6. I mean, we see a couple and obvious 2 spaces. Okay, so I just realized the books that I have to choose from are literally book 35 and 36. And both prompts are actually, like, I cheated and checked because they're so close. These prompts are actually a book about something borrowed and a book about something new. So I thought that was just a little wild and wanted to share that with you guys. Usually I didn't even notice that when I set up the board. I don't usually put books so close together within numbers, so, but I just randomly put the books out. I don't actually know what prompts are related to each book without checking, so that's wild. So either something new or something borrowed. 1, 2, 35. So a book about something new. That may be tough for mystery, but we'll see. Okay, now roll number 3, I ended up back in the mystery room, and I ended up with a kind of strange prompt, a book about something new. Now, I believe at the time of playing, there was a choice between 2 similar prompts. Books 35 and 36 are basically the wedding stuff of something borrowed, something new, and I went with something new for this one. And I actually chose a book that I've been wanting to read for a while, since October, and it was on my October TBR, and I have since, I think, had it on my TBR again since then, and just haven't got around to it for some reason. But I am determined this time to read it. A Dead and Stormy Night by Stephanie Holmes, and it is part of a series. It's the first of a series of the Nevermore Bookshop Mysteries, and it just sounds right up my alley, and I've been dying to read it. But for some reason, each month that I had it on my TBR, I wasn't feeling it. So I'm really hoping that I finally get around to it this month. It's kind of supposed to be a spookier mystery, I think, and it's 303 pages long. I did quickly check these, so if there are like acknowledgments and such in the back, I may have went ahead and counted those pages as well, so do not hold me to my page count this time. But yes, 303 pages long as of me checking very quickly. But I'm very excited to finally get around to this one, and yes, so there's that. Roll number 4. Let's hope our luck continues. 7. Thriller. Okay, I've got plenty of thrillers on my shelves right now. 6 and 3. I'm hoping that book was there. Okay. 6 and 3. So 6, 3, or 9. 1, 2, 3. I felt like that was just an obvious choice. Just kind of went for it without thinking about it. That is book number 6. So pretty early on in the numbers. A book with non-human characters. Okay, roll number 4 ended up in the thriller room. Now I have plenty of horror and thrillers on my shelves right now, and fantasy. So this was a pretty easy one to fill, actually. A book with non-human characters, and I chose a book that I've been really wanting to read for a while, and I've only owned it a couple months, I think. I bought it at the beginning of this year. Episode 13 by Craig DeLuey. Now, one of my favorite YouTubers, Gab Smulders, she does cozy Let's Plays on YouTube and Twitch, and she read this and highly recommended it, so of course now I really wanted to read it, so I bought it because of her. And I've also heard very great things about this one, so I do have high hopes, and it sounds like it would be right up my alley. And so it's about a reality TV show, I believe, of ghost hunters going into a spooky location. And this one is 433 pages long, so it goes over that 400 page mark that I was kind of shooting for this month, even though that's a challenge for me. I was really just trying to get that square on my book bingo, and honestly this is just one I've been really wanting to read, and it took me a while to even get my hands on it because at the time, My Books A Million didn't even carry it in stock. So I had to wait till I went to Barnes & Noble one time and finally scooped it up. So I'm really looking forward to this one, honestly. It may be even the first book this month that I try to tackle, because super excited. Roll number 5. 2. The Adventure Room. Okay. Oof. I just knocked a bunch of dust into that. Okay, so Adventure Room. 6 or 2 or 8 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had to do it. I don't know if you guys even could see it, but it's the compass bonus. So I get to spin a wheel and see what I'll be reading this month. And luckily this bonus is not genre specific. Even though I do have a couple of new adventure books on my shelves, the compass bonus is kind of my safety net with that room. Okay, and we have arrived again at one of the fun parts of the video. Again, we ended up with the compass bonus out of the adventure room for roll number 5. And the compass bonus means I get to spin a wheel of books that I want to read, and whatever it lands on, I read this month. So I do have 8 books on the wheel this month. Most of them are probably horror / mystery related. But basically just going in alphabetical order this time is how I did it. Starting with A. Anna Dressed in Blood. It's supposed to be a spookier paranormal / romance. Seemed very interesting. I kind of bought it on a whim, and it is a newer book to my shelves. I bought it at the beginning of this year. But yeah, it just seemed really interesting, and that's kind of the vibe I was kind of shooting for this month, I think, was interesting and spooky, because it's kind of been a while since I've read a horror or spooky-ish book. So, that one. And that was by Kendar Blake. We also have the sequel to The Hollow that I've been trying to read, The Haunted by Jessica Verday. Like I said, mixed feelings about the first book, but I've been trying to finally finish the trilogy, and I own the rest of the trilogy, and this is the second one, so had to put it on the wheel. Okay, and of course, Kill Creek by Scott Thomas. So this one is similar to, the way I interpret it, is similar to episode 13, where it's kind of a reality TV show of famous horror authors in a haunted house. So it sounds very spooky and mysterious and fun. So of course I had to choose this one to go on the wheel. And then I went ahead and added one of my Catherine Ryan Howard books. I bought 2 at the same time, and I chose Rewind. So it seems it's also horror, and it sounds very spooky and interesting, and like I said, that's my vibe for the month. So I chose this one, and it's pretty hefty. It feels hefty. So it is also over 400 pages. So if I get this one, I'll be having 4 400-page books on my TBR this month. And honestly, most of the books I chose for the wheel are hefty books. But they're books that I've been wanting to read for a while. So, yes, so Rewind by Catherine Ryan Howard. And then I have a return that has been on the wheel and on my TBR so many times and yet has been read, Spellbound by F.T. Lukens. Now, if this one gets chosen by the wheel, I am going to bend over backwards to finally read this book this month. And if I don't, I swear I am just going to scream. I am finally just wanting to tackle this one, and honestly it's gonna just keep coming back to the wheel or to my TBR until I get around to finally reading it. So, but it would go perfect with the vibes this month. It's supposed to be like a spooky magical adventure kind of deal. So it says mystery, so and just the design of this is gorgeous. So I've been dying to read it ever since I got my hands on it, and it just hasn't happened yet. It just hasn't been in the cards. So finally want to tackle it. And next, I have another sequel to a trilogy I'm working on by Jennifer L. Armentrout. The Wicked trilogy. I read Wicked, and this one is Torn, the sequel. So I really am just trying to tackle some of my series right now as well, and so I had to put this one on the wheel. And in that same vein, there's a series I've wanted to try out, Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I've heard a lot of good things about this one. Meg with Books here on BookTube has recommended it and said it was great, so I instantly bought it after she said that, and I've been wanting to read it ever since. So this one is going on the wheel as well. And lastly, by my favorite horror author, Darcy Coates. It's her latest release that I actually pre-ordered and have yet to read, Where He Can't Find You. And it sounds so interesting and so spooky. Like I said, perfect for the vibes this month. And I just can't wait to finally get around to reading it. It is also a hefty book. So no matter what I get on the wheel, I think it's going to be a hefty book. But it's going to be worth reading. So I'm very excited. And let's see what we get. Okay, 8 books. What's it going to be? Ooh. Oh, that is not what I was expecting, honestly. Okay, out of all of the books, I think that was the one I least expected. Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendare Blake. Ooh, okay. And just real quick, this one is 408 pages long, so it does meet that 400 page threshold as well. Wow. All right, roll number 6. Woo, I didn't mean to do that, so that didn't count. 3. True crime. Okay. Doubles. 2, 2, 4 spaces. Oh boy. Okay, so 2 or 4. I mean, we have an obvious 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Book 39. A book with a weird or intriguing title. And for roll number 6, I ended up with doubles again, double 2s. So I added roll number 8 to the game. So we had 2 extra rolls this game. So this would have been originally the last roll of the game, but it was not because we added 2. We ended up in the true crime room with, again, a strange prompt, weird or intriguing title. A book with a weird or intriguing title. And for true crime, I had one book that I've had for a while that fit that bill. Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil by John Berendt. And this is one I've been wanting to read for quite a while, actually. It seemed very interesting, and I don't read much true crime, so it'll be kind of different and kind of, you know, just throw me out there a little bit, and I thought it'd be fun. So, yes, so this one is 386 pages long, so it's one of the shorter books for the month. So yes, this may turn out to be an audiobook. I don't know. I have 2 really good books that would be perfect for doing an audiobook this time, so we shall see. But I thought this would be interesting. I mean, just look at the cover alone. It seems kind of spooky, so. Alright, so this is going to be roll number 7. This is for the double 5s I rolled on roll number 2. Let's see where we go. That is a 0, so it's a reroll. 5. Romance, not bad. 5, 1, or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoop, I just flipped that book. This is the one I'm going after. Book 28. A book everyone is talking about. Okay, roll number 7, we ended up back in the romance room. The prompt is a book everyone is talking about. Now, honestly, I chose Icebreaker for a cozy read, and I could have chosen it for this prompt, and I was torn on doing that. But there is a romance book as well that is the start of the series that you have seen here on my channel before that I tried to tackle, and I've been wanting to read for a while. I own the whole series and haven't read it. By Lauren Asher, The Fine Print. Now, of course, this is a thicker book at 436 pages long. But I finally just want to read it. I finally want to tackle it. Like I said, I own the whole series. I even own her latest, like, lakefront redesign or whatever. So, and I actually read Throttled by this author as well and enjoyed it. So, I have high hopes. I've heard this one's really good, and I could really go for some proper romance, honestly. So, Icebreaker seems more like that cozy, simple romance, whereas this one seems more like the intense steamy kind. So that's kind of just what I was going for. And honestly, I've wanted to tackle this series for a while, and I'm all about tackling my series right now. So this one just had to be there. It had to be in the ranks. So this one is what I chose. Okay, now unless I get doubles, this is going to be the final roll of the March TBR Clue game. Roll number 8. Okay, this is the most rolls I've done in a game this year. So, what's going to be the last room of the game? That is a 6. Fantasy. Okay, not a bad room to end. 1, 6, or 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is book 53. You can barely read this one. A book about a quest to find a lost or hidden object. And lastly, for roll number 8, we ended up in the fantasy room, which I have plenty of right now. And the prompt was a book about a quest to find a lost or hidden object. Now, I've had this prompt before a couple times, and it's kind of always hard to fill. Like I said, I may need to change up some of my prompts soon. Should have done that at the start of the year and just didn't get around to it. And this is a book I've actually had either on the wheel or on my TBR before and just didn't get around to. And this is going to be one of the shorter books this month as well, at 341 pages. So this is Ever After by FT Lukens, sorry. So this is Ever After by FT Lukens, the same author as Spellbound, the other book I've been trying to read for a while. And I own both of these and I've been trying to read both of these for so long now. It's driving me crazy, so I finally just went ahead and threw this one in there. I had to do it. And that was for the final roll of the game. Alright, and that is all for this game of TBR Clue. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's going to be a crazy month. I have 8 books on my TBR this month, not including half of The Last Devil to Die that I have to finish. So yeah, it's going to be a crazy month, and it's already started. We're already on day 4. So I've got a lot to catch up on, a lot of reading to do. Wish me luck, fingers crossed, and hopefully I'll finally make some progress on my book bingo. So yes, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye!